Welcome. Hi, everybody. So I think you know where you are, but I'm just going to remind you that you have shown up for the best gift, presents, and connection this holiday season. We are thrilled to welcome you. My name, if you don't know me, is Casey O'Rourke. I'm a positive discipline lead trainer. I'm the adolescent lead at Sproutable. I'm a parent coach, and I'm the host of the Joyful Courage podcast. I have my master's degree in education and have been working with families for the last 20 plus years, speaking to and facilitating parents live and online from all over the world. And I walk my talk imperfectly with my two now young adult kids. I am a free bird. That's what I've decided to say I'm a free bird instead of an empty nester. I am a free bird and I'm loving it. With me is my business partner, Julietta Skoog. She's also a positive discipline trainer, early years lead, and parent coach at Sproutable. She has spent extensive time in schools as a school counselor and a school psychologist. She is a sought after expert facilitating parents and educators worldwide. Julietta also practices what she preaches with her own three kids. And I know I speak for both Julietta and I when I say that we're really excited to have our friend Dr. Shefali joining us tonight as well. She received her doctorate in clinical psychology from Columbia University. She specializes in the integration of Western psychology and Eastern philosophy, bringing together the best of both worlds for her clients. She is an expert in family dynamics and personal development, teaching courses around the globe. She's written 4 books, 3 of which are New York Times bestsellers, including The Conscious Parent and The Awakened Family. I'm sure many of you have enjoyed one or both of those books. We are so happy to be here with you all. I would encourage you to engage in the hour that we have together. It's going to go by really fast. We really invite you to be in the co-creation of the value by staying in your own growth mindset, asking yourself things like, what would this look like in my family? Or what's here for me to learn? What's here for me to learn? There's a range as far as what I see in the chat of family dynamics, meaning some of you are just at the beginning of your journey with littles. Some of you have older kids like me, and then everybody's in between. I know there's at least 2 grandparents on the call as well. So yeah, so really be with us and be in that co-creation. I'm going to be guiding you through some focus on presence and connection with ourselves. Julietta is going to be focusing on presence and connection with our kids, and Dr. Shefali will wrap us up with some time centering presence and connection in all of our relationships and, just that bigger picture. So again, keep your cameras on if you're able to. It's so much more fun for us to see our audience. And I'm just going to roll right into it and get us started. So yeah, let's start this party. We are going to do some practices and I'm going to deliver some information again about bringing presence and connection with ourselves and into ourselves this holiday season. And to start us off and to really ground us into our time together, I know I need it, we're going to do a little bit of breath work. And before we start with breath work, I am aware that there may be some of you on the call who have some special circumstance or maybe some history with breath work and maybe it doesn't feel comfortable to you. This is optional. So you do what you need to do to ground into this time together. Everybody else, we're going to practice some box breathing. We're going to connect the nervous system to the way that we're currently experiencing this moment. So box breathing is breathing in, inhale for 4 beats. We're going to hold for 4. We're going to exhale for 4. We're going to hold again for 4. All right. And while we're doing it, I'm going to invite you to check in on the physical sensations that you're noticing in your body, the current emotions that are alive for you, and any thoughts or self-talk that's happening. So let's start with the breathing. So we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And I invite you to continue with the box breathing for a few more rounds. And as you breathe, noticing what are your current physical sensations? Where is there tension or tingling or soreness in the body? Just noticing, not judging. Now shifting your attention to current emotions. You name any current emotions that are alive for you. Again, noticing, not judging. And finally, if your mind is doing a little wandering, what is the storytelling or the thought or the self talk that's currently alive for you? We're just noticing. As you continue to breathe, notice how the paying attention invites a shift into the current experience. Noticing what, if anything, has shifted. And box breathing is a really simple practice and reminds me of something that I learned from a mentor of mine who says, when the body leads, the mind follows. Sometimes when we're feeling an overwhelm of experience, emotions, or thoughts, and it's hard to change our mind or our emotional experience, we can work on simply calming the body, right? To provide an opening for the mind. So when you're ready, opening your eyes if they're closed, joining me back in the room. Here we are on the eve of the holiday season. It feels like, I know I feel like there's a lot ahead of us, right? There's a lot ahead of us. And so I'd love to hear from all of you. What are some feelings that are showing up for you right now, knowing that we're just here at the beginning of this holiday season? What are some things you can share in the chat? What are some things that are showing up for you, emotions around being right here, right now, this close to the holiday season? I'm going to keep my eyes on the chat. What are some things that are coming up for you? Too much to get done? Mixture of anxiety and excitement? Not even ready, Jennifer, I'm with you. Remaining calm, enjoying the moment, finding it hard to do. Yeah, peace. Liliana feels peace. Yeah, that grief around family members who have passed. Tired of being the cheerleader for the holiday events. Oh, yes, it's all the things. It's all the things. Right. And there is a lot to look forward to. Yes, we want to create experiences, right? We want to feel connection. There's a lot of planning and consideration. People are still showing up in the chat around this. There's a lot of planning and consideration, and things can go sideways. Things do go sideways, right? And so again, I'd love Jen, that's perfect segue. Jen's comment, navigating disgruntled family members. Yes. So in the chat, now what are some of the things maybe from your holidays past or things that you might be anticipating, like grumpy family members, that can make the holidays go off track? And I'm just gonna have you drop that in the chat. What are some of the things that can show up during the holidays that throw things off or make things feel like they've gotten off track or off the rails, right? Getting sick, absolutely, Lisa. Expectations not being fulfilled, lack of gratitude. Yeah, I mean, burning dinner, right? Toddler or teen meltdowns. Yeah, grief, Sophia, thank you. I think about when my kids were younger, when we would go spend time with my family, I'd have to say, okay, you know that I get kind of weird around Nana and Grandpa. So I'm going to do my best but I'm going to be probably a little less patient than I normally am because, right, some of us, we're still doing our work, and I definitely am better now than I had been. But even just being in proximity to our family of origin can quickly kind of slide us back into some of those patterns that are less useful than we'd like them to be. So there's a lot of things that throw us off on the holiday season. And I want you to now think about when you're thrown off, right? When those things come up, because they do, family members come over, turkey sometimes doesn't get done. Vicky, I appreciate that. Things happen, toddlers, teenagers are grumpy, right? When that happens, what do you notice about your physical response? What are the physical sensations for you in those moments of what's happening right now? What are some of the physical sensations that show up for you? And I'd love for you to drop them again in the chat. So Claudia's in the head, the headache. Yeah, headaches can show up. Clenching jaw, Pam, relatable. Yeah, tight chest, hot face, tense shoulders, right? Restless legs, tightness. Thank you, Kimberly. Oh, I love that guy. I forget to laugh. Like the ability to be light and to find lightness seems to go out the window. Flipping our lids, working hard. Yes, Lisa, it's this all this efforting, right? Now, what are the emotions, right? What are some of the emotions that come up for you as things start to go sideways? As they do. Frustration, absolutely. What else? Yep, overwhelm, disappointment, irritability. I'm not enough. Yes, I should be doing better. My kids should be behaving better. We start judging our own parenting. That was definitely what would happen around my parents. Yeah. So we have all these emotions showing up too, judging ourselves. Absolutely. What are some of the thoughts? And Kate, you're launching us into this. Yeah. Why bother? So there's a story, there's a thought. What am I doing this for? Nobody cares. Right. What are some of the other thoughts that come up when things start to go sideways and we're less conscious, paying less attention and kind of in that reactive mode? So there's the story around why am I even doing this? Defensiveness. Yes, Claudia, thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, some of us just disassociate, right? Like, and that's absolutely taking us out of the present moment. That story of being the victim or the martyr, right? When can I go by myself to Hawaii? Yes, Kate, take me with you, right? Needing to separate. Guy talks about going into self blame, vowing to do better next time, feeling the stress, right? So it's a whole experience when things go sideways. And when that happens, our physical sensations, our emotions, and our thoughts can take us right out of the present moment and put us in that state where we're less thoughtful about how we're showing up. And when we're less thoughtful, we're more reactive, right? And the reactive state is where we say or do things that we got to clean up later. We wish we wouldn't have shown up that way. And it takes us away from what we actually want to create during the season. So it's really important for us to think about, okay, so I guess we should talk about what do we want to create? So when you think about the holidays, and I don't mean like the perfect dessert or, how many presents are under the tree. I want you to think about the qualities. When you think about what do you want to create for this holiday season, what's the quality that you want to exist in your relationships, in the energy of your space? Right? In your celebrations, what are how do you want to feel? What are the qualities that you want to create for your family, for yourself? Right? So looking in the chat, thank you. Connection, being in the moment, being relaxed, having fun, having some magic. Yes. And Lisa, I just got to call you out because when I think about, I want to create magic for the holidays, I think of parents of young kids. But Lisa, I know you have kids like mine who are, in the young adult years. So I appreciate you wanting to create magic. Yes, belonging, laughing, enchantment, loving presence, all the good things, right? Not worrying about the details. So, getting clear on what we want to create gives us something to point our compass towards, right? It gives us something to anchor into when our toddlers are melting down or our teens are slamming the door and rolling their eyes, when the in-laws are being the in-laws or our own parents are being who they are and giving us grief when the meal gets burned, being clear on how we want to show up is a stepping stone towards the holiday that we want to create. So we're going to play with this a little bit. Okay, we're going to play with this a little bit, kind of similar to what we did with the box breathing. I'm going to invite you, we're going to do some embodiment work. So if you're comfortable with it, please close your eyes or soften your gaze, look down. You don't need to look at the screen, and come back to that box breathing or that ever more intentional breath. So maybe lengthen your inhales and exhales a little bit. We're going to drop into this moment. I invite you to feel your feet on the floor. Open your heart space by pulling your shoulders back and down just a little bit. Soften your jaw and the muscles on your face. Maybe even bring a small smile to your mouth. Keep breathing. Now imagine with the next inhale, you are bringing to life that quality that you want to bring to your holiday. If it's love, imagine a light of love growing in your heart space. If it's lightness, laughter, humor, imagine breathing that into your heart space and that light growing as you breathe into it. If it's magic, imagine that light of magic, that light of belonging, that light of loving presence growing inside your heart center. Breathe into it. And as you do this, as you see and imagine that light, that quality growing inside your body, notice what is shifting. Notice what's shifting in the physical sensations and the emotions and the thoughts and what you're experiencing in this moment. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And I would love to hear from you in the chat. What did you notice by slowing down, being intentional about generating the quality that you want to create in your body? What did you notice about that? What happened for you? Guy says they felt so much lighter. Lisa as well. I feel light. Ugh, isn't that it? Right? Some openness. Sophia, I really appreciate some openness. Sometimes it's just a slight little bit more, right? Vicky felt relaxed. So there's this formula. Oh, Claudia, I love that. Empowered and more positive. Thank you. There's this formula that I've shared with my clients that I work with and the parents in my membership program. It's something that I learned from that same mentor who says, you know, when the body leads, the mind follows. And she calls it E plus R equals O. E is the events and experiences that show up in our life, plus how we respond or react to them influences the outcome, right? So we don't have control over all the experiences and the things that go sideways or what is challenging. However, the way we respond matters to how things continue to unfold. And having a practice like this, like the one we just engaged in, where you're dropping back into remembering, what do I want to create? I'm going to breathe that in. I'm going to breathe that light, right? Having one that centers what you want to create allows you to influence how you are experiencing what is unfolding, right? And ultimately, you're influencing the experience of others. So I hope that you found that useful. I hope that you found that useful. Connection and presence with self, right? And now I'm going to pitch it over to Julietta, who's going to take us from self to our kids and share about presence and connection with our children.
Thanks, Casey. That was just beautiful. I'm trying to figure out how to, here we go, make myself spotlight for everyone. I should be here. There we are. What came up for me was just this sense of ease when I did this practice. I was like, I just want it to feel easy, right? I want to feel ease. I immediately heard the Commodores song, singing Easy Like Sunday Morning. I'm going to keep that as my song this season. So thank you for that. So beautiful, and to team me up in this way. So I get to launch into the some practical tips and strategies. And as Casey mentioned, I have 3 children, so I am in it. I am actually in the thick, right? I have a 15-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, and I have a 7-year-old. So for the last 15 years, I have had a human who believes in the magic of the holiday season. So I am like just in it. You know, when people were saying, "Oh, the to-do list, I'm already behind." I mean, that's where I'm at also, just family 5 working. So I really appreciate this sense of compass that Casey gave us, because with that compass, we get to decide. And I think there's this, one of the reasons we wanted to do this early in quotes, is to say, guess what? We're not on this speeding train that has been already predetermined for us. And we've been given this, list of to-dos. We actually get to decide that. So, and so when I think back to things that I loved as a child, what I remember from what was meaningful for me in the seasons, and then I think about what I want to keep and what I want to bring forward with my own sweet family, my own kind of crazy circus of a family. And so in order to do that, there's some reclaiming for myself as a parent, right? Where I'm like, the time is short, right? It does go fast. And so I get to decide what this season is going to look like for myself and for my kiddos. And so with that reframing, what, this so much or so much to do, or all the, oh, and I'm responsible, that reframe, like Casey was saying, and actually, Vicky, I saw your comment in the chat. It's like the reframe of this opportunity for so much that our kids get to explore. There's so much that we get to explore. It's kind of this intensity of the holiday season. You all know, some of you know I have a dance background. So sometimes I'm kind of like, it's showtime, right? There's like, in this intensity, it's like awesome, right? It's kind of the low hanging fruit. Here's a chance that we get to offer all these opportunities to build a ton of life skills for our kids and to model them, right? So when we're overwhelmed, we get to model how we lean into our coping skills. For me, a big piece of this season is around the executive functioning, or some of these life skills, some of these kind of big deal skills that our kids are going to need when they head off into the land where Casey gets to be the free bird, right? It's like, these chances where we do get to look at a really packed calendar, all the things that are on it, adjusting the schedules, gift giving. It's just part of it, right? Part of managing the events and all that, the extra contributions or chores that are required. Maybe you're hosting, maybe we're traveling, maybe we're going. We host a big cookie party every year, all that we host even within the holiday season. I end up being the home for my extended family too. And so this piece that shifts from I, Julietta, mom, have to do this all versus we get to, this really empowering, deep sense that we do this together. So this sense of significance, a sense of belonging, the sense of contribution. So whether they are toddlers or they are teens, how are they involved with your holiday cards? How are they involved with planning the party that you're having? How are they involved with choosing what gifts there are for different family members? How are they involved with wrapping? How are they involved with planning the menu and the cooking? What are the responsibilities? How are they involved with getting the home ready? So just really that shift from perfect, making it look so perfect, and that it has to be the best or the pressure, versus what Casey was saying around the responding. And I like to think of it as dancing, right? It's like, this is all that's going to happen. You probably have 15 things of hilarious stories that have happened in the holiday season, right? I've got the time I had pneumonia, the time I had an eardrum rupture and 911, we had to call 911. Last year, when Leona ate so much pie, she was like vomiting in my dad's guest room where he was staying. And my dad was literally like, what is happening? The year I was with my mom in the ER. I mean, there's literally everything, right? The friends that got stuck in the snowstorm, and so suddenly you have 3 extra families that you were hosting. Like, it's those that make the stories, you know? And so when we can respond, like, it is totally crazy. It is going to be, for those of you that celebrate on Christmas Eve or on Hanukkah Eve, when you've got your littles and you've finally gotten them to bed and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to wrap everything. I've got to put it. And I've like got only 3 hours of sleep before they wake up back up again. So it's that sense of like, really, it's the everything. And it's that chance that they get to grow those executive functioning skills. They get to grow that gratitude. They get to grow that delay of gratification and patience, you know? So thinking about that as like, we get to really get into it and get to muscle and get to be with our family and be with our kids and work this stuff out and through, you know? So I like to lean on my 3 P's during the holiday season. The first P is play, okay? And remember, I've got a tween and a teen also. So this is not just reserved for my littles. But we've got to find the lightness. We've got to find the fun and the humor. And I think we forget that we have personalities. You all have personalities. You were really fun people. You are fun humans, you know? So, really tapping into that playfulness. Our kids need it, they want it, finding the fun. And through that play, then we get to lean into my other 2 P's, which is the practice and the pre-teach. So I think it really is fair, it's respectful when we clue our kids in, you know, what is happening? What is on the calendar? What are the events? What are the traditions? What are the expectations? What are the routines? And what is it that we're celebrating? Why does it matter, right? Why does it matter that this particular family member is going to need us to really bring our A+ game? You know, why does it matter that we've got to go to this other particular, you know, random neighbor's house? Like, really bringing them into the why. And that's the pre-teach. So maybe it's for our older kids, it really is just having that respectful, like, getting our eyeballs on everything. And we love to do it through our family meeting. We have a whole, you know, calendar. But for my littles, it really is about role play and practicing. If we're traveling, we pretend that we're getting on the airplane. We pretend we just did this whole role play around practicing when we open up gifts, because of the one time that Violet opened my sister's present and said, "This looks cheap." I was like, oh, guess what? We got to practice. Yeah. So, like, note to self, right? So, in all these things, if there's something that's making you feel anxious, get them in the ring, practice it, bring it in, you know? So, thinking about this in terms of, you know, gratitude, in terms of just behavior. And then I also really, in terms of, you know, pre teach and the practice, thinking about the routines. And especially because a lot of our kiddos are now home from school, even our littles might be home from preschool or off. And so, what are the expectations? What are our non negotiables? What are the ways that we get to model, like Casey did for us, recentering? Our kids need that too. What do the sensory breaks look like for my littles, but frankly, for my olders too? Do we have it visual? You know, in positive discipline, we say, let routines be the boss. And so, really taking a hard look at what is our holiday routine? What do the quiet times look like for the littles? Or what do the resets look like for olders? You know, I know for my tween and teen, they want to do the like 4 nights in a row at their bestie's house, or they're going to have their bestie over for like 4 nights in a row. So, what's our rule around that? You know, just getting clarity. Clear is kind. If you've got a parenting partner, really getting clear around that too. That's part of the practice and the pre teach, you know, just kind of looking ahead. So, when we think about behavior, I think Casey said, you know, if things go sideways, when they go sideways, you know, our kids aren't going to say, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You made these holidays amazing. And so I'm going to be so perfectly behaved for you because seriously, I know how much work you've been doing behind the scenes, mom, like, you know, and dad, right? So they're not going to do that, right? Their sensory system is going to go down. They're going to be overwhelmed just as we are too. And so really making sure that things aren't contingent on that behavior, right? It's about doing the right thing when nobody's looking, right? And going back to saying we're still practicing this, versus like now we're going to sort of quote unquote punish you for and remove things, or now you're not going to get, Santa's not going to come, or not going to be doing these. It's like really just honoring the stress level for everybody. And just because it is the holiday season, things don't, miraculously become even easier for us. So I talked about routines a little bit. And now I just want to sort of close by saying, this idea of traditions, I think can give heartache and angst. Casey, you talked about like, how are we feeling in our body? I'm like, oh, that brings up anxiety, but it also can bring like what I want, which is the ease, And so I want to just say, like, kids really crave this. They love the tradition. They'll say, this is what they remember. Oh, this is what we always do. But it only starts with one time. So you get to start this year what might be a new tradition, something that's awesome, something that's cool, something that you feel like, wow, our whole family really lit up around that. Say that, like, this is going to be our new tradition. Let's create that, even whatever has been in the past, we get to move forward in this full way. It can be small, it can be as big as Vi. Vi has now created this Nutcracker show that has gotten a little off the rails. So just thinking about that as opposed to like feeling obligated, you get to let go, right? Of some of those if it is not serving you anymore. Maybe it served you for the littles, but it's now becoming overwhelming. So you can also refresh it in terms of new things too. Maybe it's that one recipe that you all make together. I make these spicy nuts that are like incredible with chipotle. And now like my kids know that's our thing, and our batches get bigger and bigger. Or even just simple on Christmas Eve, we walk the neighborhood with hot cocoa and we just go see the lights. So even just naming like a few of those things that are going to be yours that you get to name for yourselves, that can anchor and bring in, kind of the why of really what we do this for, and what anchors part of that really powerful critical time in their brain development, which is these openings, that allow them to integrate these memories. And so, just in closing for my little section, I could go on and on and on. I get so excited about this. But just that piece that my Angelou says, which is that they won't remember what you said, or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And so for those of you that say you want to bring the magic and the enchantment, it doesn't have to be these big things, but if you bring that, right? If you bring that magic, if you're saying, I'm so excited, this is happening, so happy we're all home right now, right? That's what they're going to feel. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so it's my turn. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be part of your community. So, for people who may know my work, I speak a lot about, dismantling and deconstructing the cultural myths that we grow up with. So my talk right now may be something that you may not expect, but that's what I do. So what I want to offer you is this deep awareness that there's actually no such thing as a holiday season, because it's something we've imposed onto our reality. And we have all bought into it. We've all subscribed to it, and we all pay a lot of money for it. And we are now bound by it. We're like, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Oh, what are you doing? And now it's become a thing, like Valentine's Day, like big wedding days. These are not things that are natural, of the natural world, like our birth or our death or old age or our menstrual cycles. Those are natural things. This thing, this holiday season, is created. Now, when I say that, you may feel like, oh, she's just taking the air out of my bubble, my balloon. I want to be all amazing. No, I'm saying it to offer you perspective. because when we think that it's something that is ordained, we feel obligated, we feel lesser than when it doesn't appear to be what it's stated or touted to be. We feel pressure versus remembering, oh, this is optional. Let's just do this. It's something you subscribe to, which means you have a choice. So if it doesn't work for you this year to have a holiday season, guess what? You don't need to have a holiday season. You can dip in and dip out and make it what you need. Like Julietta said, it's about the moment. It's not about the holidays. So many times in our lives, we make it about the event or the thing or the achievement, and we forget what is really important. So I'll get to that in a moment. So we make it about the holiday. The kids don't care about the holiday, as Julietta said, they care about how you make them feel. So you can make them feel like the same way that you would on Hanukkah Eve or Christmas Eve as you would on a Thursday morning. There's actually no difference. So it's not a special time that we make them feel more special, or a time that we make them feel like we're more loving. It shouldn't be that, right? It should just be one more time. And then when you enter the holiday season with this lightness, what happens to you is that you're not clinging, you're not attached, you're not expecting. And then you won't have the downside of the unmet expectations, the frustration, this martyrdom, you know. So I'll tell you very frankly, I don't wrap a single gift. I don't have a thing about holidays. It doesn't even pass my consciousness. It's not an issue for me because I've never subscribed. I'll go for a dinner. Maybe I'll get a gift. Maybe I'll give a gift, but it's not something that I'm putting on my plate. Why? Because I have enough on my plate, and we have a great time anyway, because it's about the moment. It's about this present moment. It's about this day. And how am I going to show up? So it's not about the holiday season. That's something outside that is dependent on how grandma is and how auntie is and how the children are. You are the holiday, meaning you bring what the holiday is supposed to bring. You emblemize that. You epitomize that. You walk around as the magic. You're not creating magic. You are the magic. You're not creating joy. You are the joy. You're not buying the gift. You are the gift. And the rest is incidental. If you eat a good turkey, or you eat the mashed potatoes, who cares? You eat burgers, you eat fries, you eat Chinese, you eat sushi, you eat nothing, right? Don't attach to the external. It's you are the holiday. And that's what your children will remember. And if you actually make them very attached to a tradition, it's a little dangerous, because then they get attached to a tradition. And then tomorrow they will do this to their children, and then they're going to lose their mind. And then they're going to need a holiday seminar like this, a summit to ground them and relax them. So we're putting we too much emphasis on the holiday season. And it's really just a good time to be together, to be calm, to be relaxed. And don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, it becomes insanity. Then it's about the holiday being a certain way versus you just easing into connection and easing into presence. So don't be so attached on how it looks, or the tree, or the gifts, or those are not what your children will remember. They will only remember if you were relaxed, if you had a good time. And the more simple you keep it, actually, the more beautiful and connected. It could be every Christmas morning or every Hanukkah morning, or for those 7 days, 8 days, we cuddled in bed for 20 minutes and we put an alarm and we forced ourselves to stay in bed. That's a tradition right there, and it costs you nothing. So the more calm and connected you are to just the simple, ordinary moment, you're not dependent on your children's reaction to the gift. You're not dependent on how the table is looking and what grandma says about your outfit or how everyone gets along, because you are not you are the holiday. So you're not giving your power away. So these are constructions of culture. These are, industrial ways in which the westernized world capitalizes on us. So be mindful, don't get swept away. Just it just is a moment, and it's the next moment, and then the next moment. If you create this big, the holidays, then you're inevitably going to set yourself up for failure. So, you want to keep yourself and very relaxed, very open and present. And that's what your children will remember, is the present moment connection, which comes from your lack of expectations, your lack of fantasies, your lack of attachments to how it should be. And remember, you are the walking, breathing, talking holiday. You are it. You're carrying the Christmas tree inside you. You're carrying the gifts, your smile, your lit up eyes, your ease of presence. You are the holiday. You're the holiday. So what needs to be done? Nothing, right? If everyone comes for Thanksgiving, you go, what are you here for? I'm the turkey, right? Not that they should eat you, but they're not coming for the turkey. They're coming for you, is what I'm trying to say. And if you are in the right state of mind, it's a beautiful time, whether you eat potato chips or you eat, amazing, caviar. It doesn't matter. And if you remember that, then you're way calm, you're relaxed. And remember, it's an option. And you can always say, I'm not doing it this year. You have options to say, I'm not going to grandma's house this year. This year, I'm not doing it. I'm prioritizing my mental health. I'm taking it easy, or I'm not cooking dinner. I'm ordering in. Who said you have to cook the big dinner, or go and do this big fanfare? That is cultural subscription. So give yourself the power, for anyone who's feeling tired, anyone who's in grief and wants to just be at home and cry. You don't have to go. You don't have to subscribe. You have to take care of you, which then spills out. You're doing no one a favor if you are mandating yourself out of an obligation. And take care of yourself. The holidays cannot rule you. The holidays are not greater than you. There's no such thing as the holiday season that everyone talks about. It doesn't exist. It's a made up thing. Everything is made up. We all know the horrors of Thanksgiving. I don't want to, create a sense of gloom, but just this is supposed to be something just for getting together. Let's not make it more than it is. And if you keep it in perspective, everyone will have a good time. It's when we don't keep it in perspective and we are expecting and hoping and wishing the holiday seasons and we're all going to get along, then you are setting yourself up for failure. So remember to take care of yourself. You are everything you wish to bring, you have inside you. Tap into it and allow yourself to express it. And there's nothing on the outside that is more important or greater than your capacity to be present and to connect.
So free, Dr. Shefali. Thank you so much. Did I interrupt you? Did you have something else you wanted to say?
No. I'm just, the next person can take over.
Yeah. So, in case you can come on too. I just want to say, I wrote down, I put it in the chat too. It's so freeing, when I hear you. I've gotten the pleasure to hear you speak in person, and it brought me back to the first time when I was a very, very, very young parent. I think I just had maybe even Josephine, maybe if I was a baby, and I read your book, The Conscious Parent, and I felt the same way just now when I heard you speak, which is this freedom. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot, like, we're free. We get to decide. We get to decide those expectations or not. So I felt that in my body. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah,
wrote in the chat
just to
that I
say,
only, oh,
I just say one thing, in our culture, we get really trapped, right? We forget, like you said, we think we should put up the lights and we should and we should, but then we are actually, putting a noose around us. So do it, but do it knowing that it should come from a place of joy and freedom, and it doesn't have to be every year the same thing. And then we feel, oh my God, I sent a Christmas card last year. What will people think? No one cares. Like, no one cares. I don't even don't ever send me one because I don't even open it. because it's just like, I don't need more clutter, right? So it's lovely, but you know how these things become a noose around us. So
Yeah.
take off the mandates. What I'm saying is be creative, be flexible, play, like Juliet said. Play with this. Be
Mhm.
creative. And sometimes don't subscribe. Have a non-holiday season holiday. Like, how about that? There's no one way to do this. And when I walk around the neighborhood and I see everybody with the lights and everybody, I just feel like they're just conforming. And
Mhm.
how many of us really give ourselves the option to play with this and to not take it so seriously, and to really minimize and be minimalist in your expectations, fantasies, and you know the desires that it should look a certain way. So just offering that to you. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, I love that. I love your interruption, Dr. Shefali. And I'm one of those people, I'm good for maybe every 4 or 5 years. I do a Christmas card. So it's like, whoa, look, your kids have really grown. It's like, yeah, because it's been like 6 years. But that invitation to, and recognizing how conditioned we are to get caught up in the stuff. And remember, you have a practice now to help you as you move through, the next couple of months, when you feel that subscription, when you feel that attachment and expectation, to say, wait a minute, what do I want? What do I want most right now? I want to be present with my people, right? I want to animate inside of my body a feeling of ease, like you said, Julietta, or joy or connection. And you get to do that. You are the holiday.
I,
I can't wait
I
to walk
know.
into the room with my family and be like, by the way, everyone, I'm the holiday. Welcome.
Guess what? I'm the magic. So there you go. Well, and I
You're
think this
welcome.
piece too really resonates with me because I have like 15, 12, and 7. When you say you don't want to then pass on that, what are we passing on to our kids? Are we passing on their then need to the expectations and then I have to do and
Mhm.
do we get to break that cycle? And we do. Please know that you can find lots of beautiful support like this from each of us. Shefali has a beautiful membership and coaching program and retreats. Casey does as well. I do as well. We all support parents. Shefali has her beautiful books. Casey has a beautiful book called Joyful Courage as well. You can find all of us at our various websites, of course, that now I'm like stalling. Where do you find us? But we will send all of you an email that has the recording and that also has the places where you can find us. But please know this is just the beginning and that we learn and we grow and we laugh like this when we're together and when we are honest and vulnerable and open and real. And it really does take this kind of community and support. We are not isolated parents in our own little vortex. So keep reaching out to our various communities so that we can all support each other. So thank you all so much. Keep your power.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Be the holiday.